Long ago, in a small Maasai village in Kenya, there lived a girl called Nia. Now, Nia was a spirited girl with an infectious laugh and a love for adventure. She would often spend her days exploring the vast plains and her nights dancing around the campfire with her friends. One day, while exploring, Nia stumbled upon a clearing she had never seen before. And in the center of the clearing stood a magnificent drum. The drum was made of a giant acacia tree, the same tree whose long taproots can be found all over the savanna. It was adorned with intricate carvings of animals and symbols that seemed to dance and leap from its surface. As Nia approached the drum, she could feel a strange energy emanating from it. Curiosity got the better of her, and she reached out to touch it when suddenly the forest around her came alive. From behind the trees emerged a procession of spirits, each more enchanting than the last. They moved with the grace and elegance of gazelles, their bodies adorned with leaves and flowers, their faces painted with vibrant colors. In their midst was an old woman spirit who seemed to be their leader. She had a staff made of twisted branches, and her eyes twinkled with ancient wisdom. The spirits had been summoned by the drum, and they had come to dance. Nia stood mesmerized watching them dance under the silvery light of the moon. Their movements were hypnotic, their laughter echoed through the trees, and their voices soared above the gentle rustling of the leaves. It felt like stepping into a world where humans and nature were one. But as the night deepened and the dance reached its peak, a sudden change came over the forest. The playful music turned eerie, and the joyous laughter faded into menacing growls. The spirits had grown angry, and they blamed Nia for disturbing their ancient ritual. Before Nia could explain herself, the old woman raised her staff and, with a flick of her wrist, trapped her friend in a thorny maze. The thorns grew in size and density until they completely enclosed her friend, leaving only a small opening for air. Nia watched in horror as her friend struggled to free herself, but the thorns held firm like the bonds of an unbreakable oath. Fear clutched at Nia's heart. She knew that if she didn't do something quickly, the spirits would vanish into the night and her friend would be lost forever. With a deep breath, Nia stepped forward. She remembered the old woman's words. Only the rhythm of unity can break the bonds of anger. But how could she drum the rhythm of unity? All the drums back in the village were made of wood and clay, not acacia. Then she remembered the magnificent drum in the clearing. It was made of pure acacia wood, and its carvings seemed to thrum with power. If she could use that drum, maybe she could still save her friend. But how could she get the spirits to listen to her? Nia had an idea. She took off her beaded necklaces and placed them in a pile, forming a circle around the base of the acacia tree. Each necklace had been given to her by her grandmother, who was the village elder, and each one told a story of her ancestors, their strength, their courage, their unity. Nia then gathered some animal skins and laid them out in a pattern that resembled the constellations in the night sky. This was a traditional Maasai symbol of unity and strength. Finally, she put on a skirt made of lion and leopard print, symbolizing the wild beauty of the African savanna and the strength of its inhabitants. When she was ready, she started to sing a song of sorrow and loss, the song of her people, a song that spoke of their struggles and triumphs, their joys and sorrows, their connection to the land and their ancestors. The song echoed through the clearing, reaching the spirits in the forest. Slowly, hesitantly, they began to emerge from the shadows. At first, their eyes were filled with suspicion, but as Nia continued to sing, their expressions softened and they began to move. They moved in a circle around Nia, their steps slow and careful, like they were treading on sacred ground. Then something miraculous happened. The spirits began to dance. They moved with the grace and power Nia had seen before, but now there was a new element to their dance, a sense of urgency, a need to break free from the bonds that held them. Nia kept singing, pouring her heart and soul into the song. And as she sang, she could feel the anger in the forest begin to dissipate, replaced by a growing sense of peace. As the first rays of sunlight peeked through the trees, Nia knew she had done it. The forest was calm now, and the spirits were returning to their places in the trees. Her friend was freed from the thorny maze, and Nia collapsed onto the ground in exhaustion. But it was a good kind of tired, the kind that comes after a long journey, a hard-fought battle, and a victory well won. As the sun rose higher in the sky, painting the savannah in hues of gold and crimson, Nia and her friends returned to the village. They walked slowly, talking in hushed voices about the events of the previous night. Nia couldn't stop smiling. She had faced her fears, outsmarted the spirits, and saved her friend. More importantly, she had learned a valuable lesson about the power of music, the importance of community, and the strength that comes from unity. The villagers welcomed Nia and her friends back with open arms. There were cheers and ululations, drums and dancing, feasts and celebrations. Nia's bravery and quick thinking had saved not only her friend, but the entire village from the wrath of the forest spirits. From that day on, Nia became known throughout the land as the heroine of the Acacia Grove. And every year on the night of the new moon, the villagers would gather in the clearing to dance and sing, keeping the memory of Nia's bravery alive. They would tell stories of her courage and wisdom, of her ability to unite people and spirits in the face of adversity, and they would teach the young ones the song of unity, the song that Nia had sung to free her friend from the thorny maze. For the people of the village knew that as long as they had unity, as long as they had the courage to face their fears and the wisdom to seek solutions, they would always be able to overcome any obstacle that came their way. And so the legend of Nia, the heroine of the Acacia Grove, was passed down from generation to generation, a reminder that even in the darkest of nights, hope can still shine through. The rhythmic beat of a drum can bring people together, and the strength of unity can conquer even the most fearsome of foes. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe and comment below with your thoughts. Also, check out our other videos, which we think you might enjoy. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.